name is Benita Akker. I'm from Cape Town, originally from Cape Town, South Africa. I was born and raised in Cape Town. And I work at Georgetown University. I am an internal consultant there. And that means I work on all matters to do with process improvement and really working to bring cross-functional solutions to move things forward and make change happen. So I played Division 1 hockey at Old Dominion. My life in South Africa was really revolving around family and around sports. The traditions that I bring with me, or the traditions that I remember, are around like poetry, South African poetry, and how different poetry resisted what was happening and also spoke the truth in very creative ways. So it's the spoken word. And then the other one was there is a word in South Africa, in Afrikaans, it's called gesellig. It's a Dutch derivative, which means very literally, our cells are hanging out and connecting to each other. Like, it's very social and gregarious, and we are we're hanging out together. It's September 24th is like a big South African Pride Day. It's a day when we celebrate South African culture through barbecuing, and the barbecuing is called a braai. So, I mean, and the braai is so different from different cultures and different groups, you know, and it doesn't have to be meat, you know, it's just the idea that you get together and you hang out, basically hanging out around a fire. I think I would have followed a very conventional life. And I was so gung-ho about Cape Town, you know, but no, I didn't actually consider living anywhere else. You know, I'd not expected to stay longer than 2 years because I was so bent on going back. So consequently, originally, I wasn't really invested in the place. I was kind of like just here to bide my time, to get as much playing time, really selfish, you know. But I think with time that passed and experiences that happened that pivoted my view on my goal, you know, I quickly realized I started investing in my education. And with that, through meeting and studying with people of all different countries at Old Dominion, I quickly realized just how much depth of being there is to the United States. There's a lot of spirit and passion and vigor, and the people of this land truly believe in America. For a long time, I felt I should be ashamed of being a white South African because look at the history that I inherited. Even though, you know, when I was born, people were questioning and challenging it because of the years, the 20, 30 years before my birth, where there were so many leaders fighting against it, apartheid. So I really grew up during a time when the system was challenged and where you ask the hard questions. So the reason I say that is because as a white South African, I mean, I saw amazing things happen. Like, I saw the transition to democracy. I also saw the danger of fear. And if you rely on sources that promote fear, that fear continues to grow. My first experience of people of different color was playing field hockey. Honestly, I was on the field hockey team. And when you play a sport and a team sport, you know, and I'm a goalkeeper or whatever position I am, your teammate is your teammate is your teammate. You're not going to say to someone, I'm not going to pass you the ball because of the color of your skin. It just doesn't work that way. And, you know, life doesn't work that way. In South Africa, I saw that even my opportunity to play in different sports, I had far more access to opportunity than those who are people who are just like me, in terms of, we have this, like, they're human because of the color of their skin. Their pool of opportunity, their access to opportunity is far more difficult to come by. And so that, understanding that unequal playing field, literally seeing that happen from my sports experience and then coming to the United States, I came to see that here as well. I feel like in South Africa, we talked about race more. White, like all of the races talked about it, and people will call out corruption, or people will say that's racist. You know, I was truly so shocked that you asked me, because I'm a white South African, and I thought, why would she ask me? Like, I thought, you know, it's such an honor. You know, it's such an honor that, like, so anyway, I just thank you for asking me. Be clear about your intention. Don't delay. Be willing to help and ask for help. And then 3, be willing to receive help. Because when I receive help, you know what I'm doing is I'm saying, you are valuable, and I want I want to receive from you, and you're worthy of my reception. And in that process, it makes me connect with you. It's that principle of Ubuntu. I would say the familiarity of the known is the ability to express myself creatively. The thing that I think that I miss the most is South Africa is so blended. The culture is blended to some degree, and so the humor sometimes reflects like political comments. Trevor Noah, I remember one time in the audience, he said, "None of you are laughing because you're all white, right?" And it was so funny how he said it. Like there's just like something about South Africa that is like you gotta be okay with the chaos, and in the chaos, there's such beauty there. That's what I miss that. My parents and my twin sister. Yeah. So that's hard. Yeah. Well, definitely my older sister. She was a tremendous help. She's such a great friend, and she really helped me, even though she was living in Philadelphia at the time. My coaches, the teammates at ODU, even their parents were so kind. The Office of International Programs inviting me for my first Thanksgiving. I had no idea what I was eating. Like, I think, like, yeah, it's truly Old Dominion University really opened up my eyes, and it supported me. I wasn't just dropped and I had to figure it out. Very diverse, and it's very, very creative. It's one of the places in the world, South Africa, until fairly recently, had the most entrepreneurs per capita. And people generally are pioneering the South African Constitution. It's one of the most amazing stories. I want to read something that I just wrote. What we call ourselves and what others call us doesn't matter. What matters is what we answer to, and we see that in how we act and how we treat each other. I think we look the other way when the dreams of having an inclusive America is shuttered. Because if I am truly selfless, I will say we must all have the opportunity to not only dream, but make the dream a reality through the intention. So instead of telling and speaking of democracy like we do here in the United States, and I'm a dual citizen, our word Ubuntu, it's a foundational principle of the South African Constitution. It's part of the constitutional democracy. I am because we are. And so that also means that our fortunes are intertwined. My wealth is your wealth. Like, I want to see when your wealth grows because it's our wealth as we are human. I want to read something from the Constitution. It's from the preamble from the Constitution. It's just 3 sentences, but I think it's really important because I don't think people know this about South Africa. We, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustices of the past. We honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land, and we respect those who have developed our country and believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, and we are united in our diversity. One person I met who's no longer alive, but I met him by accident, is Nelson Mandela. He's an extraordinary individual. His life story is amazing in so many ways, but one of the things that I admire about him is how he pursued the law. He understood that through the law, the legal framework, and we have to pursue justice through a legal framework. And that's what they did, is they stood up and they said, how could you want me, like, all the injustices are happening in a framework that is not, it's not just. So that notion of justice and freedom, he just was very masterful when he became president, but also leading South Africa out of apartheid into democracy. I think he was meant for that time. And I wish he was here because he also recognized that there has to be unity in diversity, not unity in being the same. Because clearly it didn't work in South Africa. Like, people are not the same. So there's unity in diversity, and that's possible. So I think, I met him by pure accident. I was playing field hockey. I was traveling with a team, and we were in an airport. And South Africa doesn't have a celebrity culture like you have here. So if you see some big commotion at an airport, it's a big deal. So my friend and I went up to see who are all these reporters, and it was Nelson Mandela, and he was shaking people's hands. And I will say, when he shook my friend in my hand, one, I was too ashamed to speak because I thought I should be ashamed of being Afrikaans. But he just said, "Who are you? Why are you here? Thank you for representing South Africa." He was so soft-spoken and so kind. Like, his eyes were very kind. And definitely Nelson Mandela, the whole world knows about him. But the other one I want to tell you about is Thuli Mandusela. She was the former public protector for South Africa from 2009 to 2016. And she's now a professor of law and social justice at a university in South Africa, in Cape Town. But goodness, she's amazing. She was one of the authors of the Constitution, and she really stood up to corruption in South Africa. And so amazing how intelligent, how well-spoken, how deliberate and thoughtful and articulate she was in her role as a public protector at a time. She really had the guts and she was so brave to stand up to corruption. And she didn't think that that's what she was going to do. I mean, the role at the time was she was going to focus on administrative justice. So anyway, so yeah, Thuli Madonsela, she to this day, she's an extraordinary woman.